Your business isn't stuck, you are. Are you pouring everything that you have into your business, working nonstop, only to feel like you're getting nowhere? Are you stuck on a hamster wheel, sprinting toward burnout, really, with very little to show for it? You're doing all the things that you're supposed to do. You're putting in the hours, probably more than anyone that you know, yet real growth feels like a distant, impossible dream. Well, it's one of these three reasons. What if I told you that the problem isn't your work ethic? It's not the market, and it isn't probably not your competition either. The real reasons that your business is stuck are almost always hidden inside the business itself. You're not failing because you're not working hard enough. You're likely being held back by one of these three hidden roadblocks most entrepreneurs never see coming. So, in this video, we're going to expose these three business killers and give you a clear plan to break through each one. And you'll want to stick around because the third one is a silent killer that some research suggests is a factor in up to 65% of startup failures due to internal conflict, yet almost no one talks about it until it's way too late. If it isn't growing, it's not random. See, you prayed for growth, but ignored this. You're building capacity, not cash flow. See, the first hidden reason that your business has stalled is that it's underdeveloped. This means that you're stuck in the starting blocks, the season of development, and you haven't successfully transitioned out of it. This is the stage where you're focused on validating your idea, creating the initial product, and doing market research. It always feels like you're just about to succeed. You have a great idea, maybe a few early customers, but you haven't achieved real traction in the market. So how do you know that you're stuck here? The signs are pretty clear. Your profits are flat and just not enough to feel secure. You're leaning heavily on your own savings or personal loans just to keep things going. You might still be endlessly tweaking your product based on feedback, but you never actually make the leap to a full-scale sales push. See, one of the top reasons that businesses fails is that there's simply no market need for what they're selling. The market doesn't really want it. And honestly, really should have validated that in avatar interviews, right? Where you identify it. But another major reason is just running out of cash, which is what shuts the doors to almost 30% of failed businesses. So this is that classic trap of underdeveloped stage. You get so focused on perfecting the idea that you never truly prove it can be a business. See, founders get stuck here because of uncertainty and a lack of resources. You're afraid to go all in, as we say, until everything is perfect. But perfection is a myth. And while you're waiting, you're burning through time and money. And the hard truth is that roughly 20% of small businesses fail in their first year. What does this look like in real life? I've seen it too often. Authors who want to write a book to position themselves as an authority figure in their niche, in their area, but they keep tweaking the book and they never really finally launch. Or speakers who have worked on their signature talk and they know exactly what they're going to say, but they're afraid to ask an event planner for an opportunity to get on their stage. Or it could even be a business owner that is tweaking an online course over and over again and never offer it to the market. So, what's the fix? You have to intentionally shift your focus from creation to commercialization. It's time to stop just building a product and start actively hunting for customers. Send them the link. See, this means that your new priorities are branding, marketing, and getting feedback from actual paying customers, not the ones that are just your friends. So stop tweaking in a vacuum and start selling in the real world. You need to do serious market research to prove that demand exists. If it isn't there, you need to know now, not after another year of wasted effort. You also have to build a core team, even if it's just one or two key people, to get beyond being a solo founder with a dream. You need a community, right? Getting out of this stage isn't about having a flawless product. It's about having a viable business that's ready to fight for its place in the market. See, God grows leaders before revenue. Growth starts underground. Ready for number 2? Anointing without systems leaks. See, the second reason that your business isn't growing is that it's completely unstructured. This is the funny thing about growth. The expansion you want creates a level of chaos that if you don't manage it, it will strangle your business. So you've probably made it past that initial startup phase. You have customers, you have revenue, but everything feels like a mess. As your business gets bigger, it gets more complex. And without a solid structure, that completely causes things to break. See, the signs of a lack of structure are impossible to miss. Decisions that used to be instant now take forever because every single thing has to go through you. Communication is a disaster, and important details are constantly falling through the cracks. You feel like you're always putting out fires instead of building for the future. You've become the bottleneck. Maybe you're micromanaging everything because you don't fully trust your team just yet, or your processes are so informal that nothing gets done without you personally pushing it along. This isn't just a feeling, it's a real measurable problem. A business without structure cannot scale. Without documented processes, it's impossible to train new people effectively. Without clear roles, teams end up working in silos, duplicating work and creating friction. So investing in systems isn't just some nice to have corporate idea. It's the backbone of any business that wants to grow without falling apart. Scalability means that you can handle more revenue without your costs and effort increasing at the same rate. And that's simply impossible without structure. See, I've had it where there were students that had an opportunity to do one-on-ones with me in the coaching grouping section. And they came in because, yes, they might have had clients, but it was more of the here's what I need to do. And I need you to tell me what I need to do now and the steps that I need to do to get it done. In other words, SOPs, systems of operation, or the process, the steps of the process that you want to put in place. If I want to hire someone, and I'm going to tell you honestly, I did this. I hired a VA probably for about 8 months. And in doing that, now I'm paying them every single month to do some posts and things for me. This was a while ago. But without the right SOPs in place, even though I had them in place, they were missing it. Misspelling my name, really? That was not going to fly for very long. All right. And yeah, I lasted probably about 8 months with them. But what you have to have is these standard operating procedures, the SOPs in place, and identify that plan. So how do you fix this if it's unstructured? You have to make the shift from being an entrepreneur to being a leader. See, that journey starts by intentionally designing the systems that will eventually run your business for you. Can you say Swiss, making sales while you sleep soundly? Right. See, first, standardize and document everything. Remember those SOPs I was talking about? Create a simple, repeatable process for your most important operations, from how you make a sale to how you onboard a new hire. This is how you guarantee quality and consistency as you grow. Second thing that you need to do here is use technology to your advantage. A good CRM, that's the customer a system management system, project management software, and automation tools are not that expensive. They are instruments for your own efficiency and sanity. And let me just give you a plug right here. If you have an all-in-one platform like I use Kajabi, where I have my CRM, I can schedule things that are going out. I also have my online courses on the same platform, as well as my coaching on that platform. When you have it all in one, it makes it easy. But a project management system, I use Trello to make sure that I am flowing from one speaking engagement to the other and nothing is overlapping. Some people use Slack. You've got to make sure you've got technology that is your friend, that is going to help you. Because see, this technology will free you up and your team from boring, repetitive tasks so that you can focus on what actually is going to move the needle. So when a customer comes in and they identify that they want a particular project, I tag them so I know what email sequence that they are going to, and it's on automatic pilot. I also know if there's something else that they would need. I can categorize them if they're finance, if they're business related, if they're personal development related. You can tag them. That's the benefit of technology. You want to have it work in your favor. But the third thing that in this particular section, if you are underdeveloped, is that you have to learn to delegate, right? Start small. Hand off some low risk tasks to build trust and empower your team, similar to me getting that VA. As the founder, though, your job is to be the guardian of the big picture strategy and vision, not to get bogged down in every tiny detail. See, building a scalable business means building a company that can one day run without you. Chaos is killing your growth. Structure creates scale. All right. If there is no peace, there's a clue. The third and the most dangerous roadblock is that you and your business have become uninspired. This is about losing your why. It's the slow, quiet death of the mission and the purpose that made you start the whole crazy journey in the first place. See, it happens subtly. In the beginning, you were the challenger, an innovator, completely fueled by a passion to solve a problem that you cared about. But as the business grew, the pressure mounted. The focus shifted from mission to metrics, from purpose to profit. Now, you really can have both. But the daily grind of operations, managing the cash flow and putting out fires does take its toll. See, founder burnout isn't just a buzzword. It's a defining crisis in the entrepreneurial world, with studies showing a majority of founders feel it directly hurts their ability to lead and to make clear decisions. So, how do you know if you're in this particular stage? You feel mentally and emotionally drained, even when things are going well. You should be celebrating. See, the work that used to excite you now feels like an obligation. You might find yourself making inconsistent decisions or chasing short term trends that don't line up with your real vision. This isn't just stress, it's a deep disconnect from your own work. And it's a massive risk, honestly. So while it's not the only cause, some research has shown that up to 65% of startup failures can be attributed to co-founder conflict and other internal team issues, which are often fueled by burnout. When you're burned out, the very skills that you need most, like the creativity and the strategic thinking, are the first to disappear. Reigniting that fire is not about finding a new business. It's about reconnecting with the soul of the one you already have. Can I be very transparent? I've experienced all of this, including this feeling of burnout, only because, especially when you know that you have done your very, very best and someone else gets the credit for your work, or you don't see the results that you expected in a timely manner, even though as you were praying, you're being patient because the Bible tells you don't get weary in well doing, for you shall reap if you faint not. And you're like, I'm not going to faint. I'm going to keep doing this, but I'm tired. I'm going to tell you my free download for the 5 biggest mistakes that are keeping you overwhelmed and under optimized. It doesn't just have what to avoid in it, because yes, you want to avoid those mistakes, but it's also a great encouragement because I even got my own packet, right? I had to encourage myself in the Lord. That's right. All right. So wait. So in this uninspired section, how do you get out of this? First, you have to go back to your why. Step away from the day-to-day chaos and give yourself actual space to think. What was the original problem that you were obsessed with solving? Who were you so passionate about helping? A clear and compelling mission is what inspires not just you, but your entire team. But the second thing that you can do is build a support system. Founder isolation is a huge contributor to burnout. You need a tribe. Find a mentor. Join a peer group of other entrepreneurs, queenpreneurs as I call you, or just get an accountability partner. Having a safe space to talk about your struggles with people who actually get it is one of the most powerful things that you can do. And just a little tag here, most people, even on their personal life, don't have that person that they can go to. So when you're in business, entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. You need that. It's a necessity, not a luxury. But finally, in this, you need to practice strategic patience. Burnout often comes from feeling like you're not moving fast enough. So trust the systems that you have built. Empower your team to do their jobs and give yourself permission to rest. See, time off isn't a luxury. It's a strategic requirement for high performance. The leaders who are healthy enough to lead are the ones who win in the end. Busy doesn't mean aligned. You're striving. You're not stewarding. So those are the 3 hidden roadblocks that are probably holding you back. Your business is either underdeveloped, stuck in the idea phase without real market traction, unstructured, drowning in chaos because you haven't built the systems to handle growth, or uninspired, suffering from a loss of vision and founder burnout. The common thread here is that these 3 are all internal problems. They aren't caused by the economy, your competitors, or even bad luck. They are challenges of strategy, systems, and spirit. And because they are internal, you have the power to fix them. You can decide to shift from just creating to actively selling. You can commit to building the structure your business desperately needs. And you can intentionally reconnect with the purpose that got you started. It's time to stop working harder and start working smarter. Figure out which of these 3 roadblocks is in your way, actually, and take the first step to clear the path. Let me say that one again. Figure out which of these 3 roadblocks is in your way and take the first step to clear the path. So if this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content designed to help you build a better business. And don't forget to grab your copy of Crowned by Design. It's the signature business blueprint for faith-driven entrepreneurs. And I'm going to put it in the link below. It's in that description. And then start watching Building a Faith-Based Business One Room at a Time series. That's right, because I give you more tidbits on what you can do. It's the perfect next step for tackling a lack of structure and getting your business back on a growth trajectory. So thanks for watching. I'm Dr. Shantae Haynes. Have a fantastic rest of your day. God bless.